You can't see it. You can't smell it. But it's destroying the ground beneath your feet. Plastic isn't just choking oceans anymore. It's poisoning our soil, silently and irreversibly. Every day, tiny plastic particles seep into the soil. From farms, from cities, even from your own backyard. And once it's in, it doesn't come out. The food we grow, the water we drink, the land we live on, it's all at risk. But no one's talking about it. Until now. In this video, we'll uncover the hidden invasion of plastic in our soil, how it's killing life underground, and what it means for your health, your food, and your future. This isn't just another pollution story. It's a warning, and you need to hear it. It starts with something you can't even see. Tiny plastic fragments, smaller than a grain of sand. We call them microplastics. They come from broken bags, packaging, and synthetic clothes. Rain washes them off streets, landfills, and farms, and they slowly settle deep into the soil. But they don't just sit there. They interact with the earth. They change its chemistry. They block air and water flow underground. They suffocate the tiny organisms that keep soil alive. And once inside the ecosystem, they never leave. Microplastics are not just trash. They're toxins in disguise. And they've already made their way into the food we grow. Healthy soil needs life. And earthworms are the heart of it. They tunnel, breathe, and enrich the ground. But plastic is changing everything. Studies show earthworms avoid plastic-contaminated soil. Those that stay, they suffer. Microplastics clog their digestive systems. They eat less. They move slower. And many of them die. Fewer worms mean compacted, lifeless dirt. That's bad news for crops, and worse news for food security. When plastic kills earthworms, it kills the land's ability to grow. And without growth, what's left? You think compost is safe? Think again. Even organic compost can hide plastic. Tiny wrappers, labels, or packaging bits slip in. They get shredded, they get mixed, and they end up on your garden beds. Now imagine feeding your plants with soil full of plastic. That's what's happening worldwide. Home compost, industrial compost, even school gardens. And these microplastics don't break down. They just break apart into smaller, sharper threats. They stay in the soil for decades, changing how plants grow, changing how roots absorb nutrients. Compost was supposed to heal the earth. Now it's quietly becoming another problem. They're small, they're silent, but they're soil's greatest workers. Earthworms break down organic matter. They tunnel, mix, and keep the soil breathing. No earthworms? No healthy soil. But here's the problem. Microplastics are invading their world. Worms eat them by mistake. Their guts get clogged. They stop eating real food. They stop reproducing. And eventually, they die. A 2021 study showed shocking results. Earthworms exposed to plastic had slower growth, weaker immune systems, and shorter lifespans. That's not just sad, it's dangerous. Because losing earthworms means losing the soil's heartbeat. And when the soil dies, everything above it follows. You've heard of microplastics, but have you heard of what they carry? Plastic isn't just plastic. It's full of additives, BPA, phthalates, flame retardants, dyes. Over time, these chemicals don't stay trapped. They leak, they spread, they poison. Rain breaks plastic down. Sunlight heats it up. And the soil soaks in everything. These chemicals don't just sit there. They mess with plant roots, disrupt microbial life, even enter crops we grow and eat. Sounds extreme? It's not. Studies have found toxic plastic compounds in farmland, in food, even in human blood. The soil was supposed to give us life. Now it's giving back what we dumped in: poison. It started with good intentions. Plastic mulch, plastic tunnels, plastic irrigation systems. Farmers embraced it. Why not? Controlled weeds, saved water, boosted yields. But nobody asked, what happens when it breaks down? That thin plastic sheet covering the soil? It doesn't just disappear. Tears, flakes, crumbles into microplastics. Season after season, the layers build up. More fragments, more pollution, less healthy soil. Plastic in farms creates short-term gains, but long-term damage. And worst of all, it's hard to remove once it's in the ground. You can replace seeds, you can rebuild fences, but you can't unpollute the land. We thought plastic was a solution, but it's becoming a trap, and the soil is paying the price. Earthworms are nature's farmers. They dig, they turn the soil, they bring it to life. But now they're vanishing. Why? Because plastic is poisoning their home. Studies show earthworms eat microplastics. Not by choice, by accident. They confuse it with organic matter. They swallow what doesn't belong. And once inside, the plastic doesn't pass through. Clogs their guts. It slows their growth. It lowers their reproduction. The soil loses its workers, its builders, its recyclers. Without earthworms, soil loses structure. Water can't flow. Air can't move. Crops struggle to grow. One tiny worm may seem small, but billions of them, that's the engine of the ecosystem, and we're choking that engine with plastic. We can't afford to lose them, because when the earthworms die, the soil dies next. Think fertilizer is just nutrients? Think again. Many commercial fertilizers now contain microplastics. And it's not just the bags, they're inside the mix. How did we get here? Recycled sewage sludge is one reason. It's used as a cheap soil additive. But that sludge? It's full of plastic fibers from clothes, microbags from cosmetics, and residue from packaging. So, when farmers spread it on fields, they're not just feeding the crops. They're feeding the soil plastic. Pesticides also come in plastic-coated pellets. It helps them release slowly. But what happens when that plastic stays behind? Year after year, the plastic builds up. It changes the soil's chemistry. It changes the way roots grow. It even reduces how well plants absorb water. The very things meant to help crops are quietly harming the earth they grow in. And most people have no idea, because plastic is hiding where we least expect it. In the name of growth, we're planting pollution. You might think soil damage stays underground, but what happens below eventually rises above. Microplastics in soil don't just stay put. Plants absorb them through their roots. Tiny particles find their way into leaves, stems, even fruits and vegetables. And then, we eat them. Every salad, every apple, every slice of bread. The plastic doesn't stop with us, either. Livestock eat crops grown in plastic-laced soil. Chickens peck in contaminated dirt. Cows graze on plastic-covered grass. From soil, to crops, to animals, to your plate. It's a full-circle contamination loop. Researchers have found microplastics in human blood, in our lungs, even in unborn babies. And it all starts from the ground up. We thought we were growing food, but we're also growing pollution. It's not just an environmental issue now. It's a public health crisis. And yet, most people are still eating in the dark. Now that we know the truth, the big question remains, can we fix this? Or is it already too late? The good news? Nature is resilient if we act fast. Scientists are developing biodegradable plastics. Farmers are exploring organic, plastic-free methods. And some countries are already banning plastic mulch and limiting plastic-heavy farming. We need more compost, more natural fertilizers, less packaging in our food chain. We need to educate farmers, support clean agriculture, and pressure big industries to stop using plastic like it's harmless. Because it's not. And most of all, we need to stop thinking of soil as just dirt. It's alive. It's complex. It's the foundation of every bite we take. And if we poison it with plastic, we poison ourselves. But if we protect it, we protect our future. So now you know, the plastic in your hands is ending up in the ground beneath your feet. The soil that feeds you is being poisoned, slowly, silently, daily. But silence is no longer an option, because if we don't speak up, nothing will change. You can be part of the solution. Every small action counts. Every voice matters. So if this message opened your eyes, don't scroll past. Share this video, tag a friend, talk about it, and most of all, subscribe to Let's Talk Plastics. Because we're not here to scare you, we're here to wake you up. The soil is crying out for help, and together we can answer that call. Thank you for watching. Stay conscious, stay curious, and stay committed. This is Let's Talk Plastics, and we're just getting started.